Hi guys, Cindy Byer with Yelva Heaton here for our Work It Hard in the Yard workout series for the week. So people are going to look at us and sit there and go, what in the world are you guys doing with a rake, right? What are we going to do? When I first moved here though from New York years ago, I didn't understand why people would be out in the yard raking, right? Because I'm like, the leaves don't fall down in Texas the way they fall up in New York, right? For those of you from New York, understand that. And so I'm like, what are they doing?
It's just not an orderly leaf fall. It's throughout the...
It is, but you know what it is? It's those darn pine needles.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. So for those of you who are not from Texas, there is a need to have rakes, unless you have the yard service, and a leaf blower, but I'm not going to bring a leaf blower into this workout series this week because that's, well, I could. Maybe that's for another series. But so grab a rake, grab a broom, grab a mop, grab something like this. This is going to be somewhat similar, but feel completely different than when we did the shovel workout the other day, right? So grab a rake and let's join in the workout. So the first thing you're going to do is just have the rake down on the floor. You're going to, if you saw the shovel workout, you're going to go, well, this is somewhat similar. Absolutely. However, if you've ever shoveled and you've ever raked, you recognize they're completely different effort, right? It's a different pattern of movement. So when you join in, you're going to go, well, at first, if I'm just sitting there watching, it looks almost similar until you actually do it. So get up, grab nothing, grab the air, that's fine too. So you're gonna hold the rake in one hand and one on top. However you normally would hold, right? I usually have my hand over top on the bottom and my hand under here. And all you're gonna do is just lift it up, right? And go down. So you're gonna drop the elbow down to the side and come up. What are we doing is we're getting used to the weight of the rake. But this is an action that you would actually do right before you're gonna rake something on the ground. The difference between shoveling and raking is not just the weight of what you're using, but in shoveling there's more of a pushing action, and in raking there's more of pulling action.
And it's longer.
And it's longer.
It is.
And our direction changes. It's multi-directional. With shoveling it's really singular. All right? So now from here all we're going to do is we're going to hold that rake up and we're just going to lunge to the side. Good, and then I come back. I got to be very careful and watch Yelva here out of my side peripheral vision. Otherwise, she might rake me. I should make sure it says rake you, because otherwise it couldn't be thought of something else. Good. So I'm just going to lunge to the side, right? So you're going to be watching this and you're going to be like, oh, well, that just looks super simple. I would challenge you to get up. And as Yelva has mentioned several times, it's amazing how much you sweat just doing the simple moves. Now we're going to add a little bit more of a reach into that, right? We reach out, right? I haven't dipped it down, but you can. So this time I'm going to dip it down. So I'm actually going into a slight side bend, right? You can start to feel your obliques. Now the focus of this is going to be on the pull back. So when I have my rake down here, I want to pull to come back, right? So I go down and I pull to come back. I want to feel my obliques working as I'm doing this. Try about 4 more. And then 3. And 2. And 1. Now, guess what? We're going to have to go backwards. We're going to have to step out of the way. Or let's say there's something in front of us. We have to step forward and come back, right? It's still this deliberate pull, right? So my arm is going to pull up behind me, right? Just mimicking that action that you would normally do. So if do you ever get bored when you go to the gym?
Yes.
Yes. A lot of people do. So if that's you, don't worry, it's normal. So here's what I do. I get bored when I go to the gym because it's boring to stand there and do a bicep curl or a standing squat. So people always ask me, how do you come up with this stuff? It's because I get bored, and I don't like to be bored. My parents always said, if you're bored, I'll give you something to do.
Here we are, raking.
Good, now step over to the side again, back into the side lunge. Remember, raking is so much more multi-directional, meaning you're not just going linear. Good, now step diagonal forward, right? This is how you're doing it. It's a little bit different than sweeping because what we're doing is we're reaching a little further. Good, step forward. 4, and 3, before you tune us off and go, oh, this is boring, I encourage you to get up and try it. Very good, and step and take a break for a moment. Going to the other side.
Unfortunately.
The challenge is going to your non-dominant side. But if you've ever hurt yourself, like thrown out a shoulder, thrown out your back, thrown out a hip, you'll find pretty quickly there's times in which you have to go to your non-dominant side to do something. The only way that doesn't work is when you're driving, right? You can't go to your non-dominant foot. At least you shouldn't. All right, so now figuring out the hand grip, right? So here's how I did it. I'm like, okay, my hand is typically here, overhand and then underhand. So now I have to go overhand and underhand, and then I'm on the other side. Okay. So my top hand is underhand grip, my bottom hand is an overhand grip, right? So then we're going to flip it up and come back down. And stick around till the end, because just because you see us doing this little routine here in the beginning doesn't mean that's all there is. We have an extra bonus piece that comes into play, which you didn't even expect when you thought, oh, she's just doing this functional rake workout, right? Good, hold here. Then you're just going to lunge to the side and come back. So right now, lunge and come back. We'll add the reach in as we go.
I know it starts happening on its own.
Right,
like I just want to do it.
It's very natural, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what people don't realize is just the movement of raking, thinking about how much of their body is actually working to do this work. Remember, the focus is on that pull back. So we reach down and then we pull back. And there's not much focus on that lunge forward. And people do these lunges like at the gym in their workouts. It's not wrong. But start focusing more on the opposite action. Instead of lunging down and in, think of pulling back and standing up, because that's what we want. We want to be able to get up if we've fallen down. And it's more functional. But guess what? My arms are working. That's why they are so sore after we've raked. So is your back.
And
Two
my legs.
more. One more here. Now we're going to just step forward, right? So we're going to step forward and pull. It feels awkward on this side, right? So my form is going to be a little bit worse. But get that back elbow to pull up. You probably don't take much time to think about what you're doing when you're raking. I know I don't, but I do now. Hopefully, if you practice stuff like this, it'll get your body ready and prepared for going out and doing your yard work.
We should have done it outside, in your yard, and raked the leaves.
I know, but it's like 95 degrees. We can do that next time. Good. Go back to the side lunge. We're going to go out here 6 times. We'll do another one, and we'll do it like as the behind the scenes that gets posted up on my Patreon page for people to watch. We're watching us sweating it out as we're working out outside.
Because I'm sweating here, but...
Yeah. Good. One more here. Now we're going to go diagonal to the front. So diagonal with that reach. What you don't realize is happening is there's a bend to your spine as you're doing that. This is where people are surprised when their back hurts, right? They're surprised because they don't realize how much of these muscles they're using when doing something like yard work. Now step forward, right? We're going to do about 6. And then I've got that bonus part that people are watching this going, oh, this looks simple. It looks like it should be easy.
And we're in a sweat.
And we're going to sweat. We would be dying.
We are.
And if it was rest here.
And if it was grass, it'd be even harder.
Right, because remember with raking, it's pulling.
Because of the drag, yeah.
There's that drag action to it. All right. Now, this is the bonus part that people forget happens when you rake. You rake it all into a pile, and then guess what you have to do?
Jump in the pile. Okay, no, that's what I would do. What would you do?
Okay, you want to jump into a pile of pine needles.
No, leaves.
Okay, leaves.
New York leaves.
Jump into a pile of leaves. You could jump into it, but guess what you have to do with that pile?
Pick it up.
You've got to pick it up. It doesn't just sit there. But, let's put it this way. Ladies, if you guys are working and you're doing some kind of housework or whatever, you're going to carry all the way through. But have you ever gone home and asked somebody to do something? I'm being very cryptic in it, but those who know what I'm talking about understand.
I have somebody's too.
And it just gets halfway done where they'll just sweep it up or rake it up and it'll be just in a pile, waiting for it to magically disappear. Does that ever happen to you?
Never magically disappeared.
No, it never does. But to certain populations of the people, things magically disappear.
So bad. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Certain populations, right?
Yes, that's because somebody else takes care of it.
All the time.
Magically.
Exactly. All right, so here's the bonus. Here's the thing. Here's where I need the men to get up and do this action, because this is really important. It's important for you guys to learn how to do this part of the work, right? Because I just want to make sure your backs don't hurt when you actually
Yes.
finish off. Well, that's a bad word.
When you actually pick everything up, you should.
Finish the job, right.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to have your rake here. Guess what? So when that happens, what do? It's in a little pile. You need to now go down and scoop it up with your other hand, making sure you have a glove on your hand. But to get down, you got to squat, right?
I knew it.
That's right. So you have your rake here. You don't want the pile to get pushed away, so you've got to hold the rake there. Then you're going to step to the side and just squat down first, and then come back to the center. Step and squat. So here's that bonus part that if you turned it off before, now you're like, oh shoot, I'm missing this. Make sure you tell your friends, turn it back on. You've got to see this bonus piece and have it showed to all the guys specifically, so they learn how to do this specific action, because clearly they haven't learned this part, right?
No, clearly.
And now, guess what? We're going to come down and come up. We're going to come down with our hand. We have to get deep, right? So a lot of times people are afraid to get deeper in their lunge because they've been made to feel afraid of hurting their knees. Rightfully, we don't want your knees to hurt. But practically, we have to practice the action of going deeper into the squat. So you can just widen your legs to go deeper, right? But now stay down here. Take your hand. You're going to pull it across, and you're going to lunge over, right? Then you're going to come back. You're going to stay here and just lunge and come back. Now, I've slowed it down a little bit. It usually goes faster than that, right? Now, from this point, I'm going to lunge over, then I'm going to step together. Okay? Whew. Step down, sweep, lunge, step up. Step down, sweep over, lunge, and up. 3 more. Step down, sweep over, lunge, and up. About 2 more. You didn't realize how much your legs and your body was going to work on this, right? 1 more.
That's awesome.
Up from here. Other side.
What? In lunges, there's another side? Okay.
There's always another side.
Fine.
Because what if the pile is over here?
I know.
Hold it there. Just going to squat to the side. Just step and squat and come together. So with each squat, you can go a little bit wider. There's nothing wrong with having your legs turned out if that makes it less pressure on the knees. Perfectly fine. This is not the series where I'm going to walk you through how to squat properly. This is me walking you through how to finish off your raking job, right? Now, go down and sweep down. So you're going to come down and step up, and come down and up, right? Come down, pull up. Now come down, lunge over, go back. You're going to strip the weight to that leg that's closest to the rake, right? It's like you're grabbing some more stuff. 1 more here, then we're going to add the step up. So we're going to lunge, pull to come up. Because remember, everything in raking is a pulling action. It's not a pushing action. You're grabbing and pulling. You step, lunge, you pull to lift. Now, if you wanted to make it a little bit more practical, pull, and you lift the rake too. Because you got to get all that stuff on there, right? Pull and lift. Pull, lunge, and lift. 2 more. Down, pull, lunge, and lift. 1 more. Down, pull, lunge, and lift. And you guys are so awesome. Thanks for joining us today for our Working Hard in the Yard Rake Challenge. Hopefully you had fun, was a little bit more motivated to work out, and maybe practically learn some stuff that you could do with the rake that you didn't realize that you can do. Thanks so much. Hope to see you guys soon. Remember to go on over to my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Cindy Byer. Tune in to any workouts that you might have missed.
B-Y-E-R.
That's right. And also, you can go on over if you'd like to continue to help support some of this content and the future growth of it. Please go on over to my Patreon page, which is spelt patreon.com/my name, Cindy Byer. And I'll put that in the description and the comments below. That way you can go over there and check it out. So thanks, guys, so very much. Bye-bye.